Well, good Saturday evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist Michaela Lucero. Hey, we are watching some showers moving across the DMV for your Saturday evening. We're going to walk across what's going on the radar, and then we're also going to head over to Futurecast to show you what we're going to be seeing throughout the rest of your evening. So let's start off with what we're seeing on the radar. So we'll zoom in to the area that's seeing the heaviest rainfall at the moment. And right now it's still well off to the north and to the north and west of DC. Now here's what we look like on Futurecast, but we'll head back over to the radar. I want you to notice that the timing of Futurecast and radar are a little bit different. So you can see here, Futurecast, it shows that the rain is moving through DC over the next about hour or so. But when we switch back over to the radar, you can see, yeah, it's quite a bit behind what our models are already showing. So let's kind of get a closer look at what we're seeing and where some of that heavy rainfall is at the moment. It's still, again, well off to the north and to the west of DC. So we'll zoom in on a bit of that heavier rainfall that's coming through, again, towards our north and west. So a closer look, still just to the south and to the east of Hagerstown. Hagerstown, you had a pretty significant storm come through your area earlier around this evening. Now that system has moved off to the south and to the east, and now you're going to be on the dry side. Hagerstown, you're done for the night, but you did get some pretty significant rainfall earlier on. So let's talk about what we're currently seeing right now. Places like Frederick, you're getting some pretty heavy rainfall heading through your area right now, and you're just about done with the heavy rainfall for tonight. Yeah, you'll still get a few little bit of sprinkles behind this initial line of showers and storms, but this should be the last bit of heavy rainfall that you get for tonight. A place like Mount Airy, you're getting a little bit of heavy rainfall along I-70, right where it gets crosses over with 270. That's where we're seeing some of that rainfall coming through at the moment. So if you are headed out on the roadways heading that way over the next about hour or so, you are going to notice that rainfall. And like we always say, turn around, don't drown. You know those areas on the roadways that are low-lying, that we usually get some of that wet weather pooling up on. So keep that in mind for your travels for tonight. If you are headed up towards the north and east on 270, or if you're really headed towards the east, towards West Virginia on I-70 later on today, into this evening and overnight, you're going to run into some of that wet weather and maybe a little bit of that pooling of rain on the roadways. Now we'll continue to move up because the heavier rainfall is just outside of our area. So Westminster, you're getting some heavy rainfall as well. And then as we move closer to like the Pennsylvania border, that's where the heaviest rainfall is. That's where some of that some severe weather has been for today. But we have been severe clear for the entire afternoon, and hopefully we stay that way over the next couple of hours or so. Now let's see where some of the heavy rainfall is and how heavy that rainfall is. We've been seeing some spots that have been close to about 1 inch to 2 inches per hour, but let me kind of put that in perspective a little bit. So just to the south of Fredericksburg, we're seeing precipitation rates of up to about 1.25 inches per hour. Here's the good news with that. Yes, that's heavy rainfall, but the storm is moving fast enough that you're not even going to see it for an hour. So it's not likely that you'll accumulate 1.25 inches in rain because the storm won't be over your area for a full hour. Yeah, you'll get some heavy rainfall while it's there, but no, it's not necessarily going to be there for that full half hour. Now, as we continue to move around the DMV, we'll get closer to the district and kind of show you what it looks like at the moment. DC, we are clear for now. Got a little bit of cloud cover way up high, but that's about it. No wet weather to show you at the moment. But let's get over to our Futurecast, because I want to walk you through what our models are saying are going to happen as we move throughout the night tonight. So we'll get rid of that. Now notice here, this model, our HRRR model, it already shows the rain moving through DC at about 8 o'clock. Now I think that is way too soon. We were just looking at the radar that still had the wet weather well off to our north and to our west. So I think this model is a little bit ahead of itself, ahead of the game. So still keep in mind, if you're out tonight late, you're probably going to run into some of that wet weather. So yes, this model's saying about 8:30 when we could be seeing some of that wet weather in the district. I would say push that back a little bit, closer to probably 8:30, 9:15 when we could be seeing some of that wet weather move through DC and downtown DC. So again, if you're out late tonight, you'll probably be running into some of that wet weather. It's not going to be very significant because if you remember, we were looking at the radar, we were seeing those reds and oranges and yellows, that heavy rainfall. We're not seeing that heading into the evening. So as we move through Futurecast tonight, notice this does move out relatively quickly as we head towards about 9 to 10 o'clock. All of that should be out of the DMV. We'll hang on to 1 or 2 clouds here and there, but most of us will be nice and dry. I do want to mention one thing. If you are traveling for your Sunday morning and you are headed to West Virginia, headed over the mountains into West Virginia, you might run into some of this lingering wet weather that it could be cold enough, again, well off to our west in West Virginia, that it could be a little bit of that wintry mix. So if you are traveling tomorrow, heading off towards the west into West Virginia, you might run into some of that. The rest of the DMV is going to be relatively clear and quiet from the wet weather tomorrow. We'll still hang on to some of the cloud cover. I do think we'll get a few peaks of sunshine here and there, but it's going to be much cooler than what we felt for today. Most of us will start in the upper 40s to low 50s and only make it into the 60s by the afternoon. But let's put that in perspective. 60s is about where we should be this time of year. Today was just unseasonably warm, mid to upper 70s across the area. It was so beautiful outside. So tomorrow it's going to feel a lot cooler, even though it's relatively average for this time of year. And remember, tomorrow is the first day of spring. So we'll get one more quick look at the radar. And again, this is where we are watching right now, this line of showers and storms. Haven't seen anything severe at the moment, but of course we'll continue to watch it. And another thing I want to point out is that this line of storms was really, really tight just about 2 hours ago. It had a lot of rain along with it. Again, Hagerstown, you got some of the heavy rainfall that came through, but notice it's really starting to fall apart. So by the time it gets to the district, right now it's looking like it's just going to be some showers across the area, a few sprinkles here and there. So if you're out late tonight, you're probably going to get a few of those sprinkles. All right, one more thing I got to point out to you before we go. Since you're already on Facebook, head on over to our WUSA9 Weather Watchers page on Facebook. There you can post pictures of the weather that you see throughout the night tonight. If you do get maybe a picture of the rain that comes through or some cool clouds after a storm comes through, we want to see them. You can post them to our WUSA9 Weather Watchers page, and we'll do our best to get them in the newscast each and every day.